All right. Hi, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome to another episode of Get Behind the Screens, where today we're doing it at the greatest Hollywood Chamber of Commerce. Glenn is actually over there right now. I'm doing it remotely once again. We have some amazing people that have joined us in person, and we have a few others online. Glenn, why don't you take the helm and do the in-person intros, and we'll take it from there.
And I'm putting my badge on just to show that I'm an ambassador to the chamber. If you're brand new, or you two also brand new?
Yes.
As you get more involved with us, you'll see the reason why ambassadors are important. I'm not that important, but the other ambassadors are. You get more involved with the chamber, you become an extension. And the end of the paid political announcement is you'll have the opportunity to meet more people. Does everybody want to meet more people? Good. All right, so I have not, I'm standing in the way of you. I shouldn't do that. So, Glenn Benjamin, I changed roles with my other company that I belonged to, which was sold back in November. And I've done a little bit of a road trip. I am involved in cybersecurity. And you're going to hear cybersecurity here, whether you like it or not, because it's important. I'm also involved with a chamber member called My Flare Alerts. They are doing school safety programs that will blow your mind about how we're trying to protect. And yesterday is a bad example. You had a synagogue in Michigan, and I forget the school in Virginia where they had shooting incidents. So active shooting is a real problem based on yesterday. I'm not trying to be an opportunist. I'm not trying to do that, but the awareness of it is we have to do a better job. I will talk AI at times, so will David, and cybersecurity and so on. That's kind of it. Oh, no, and I have a second role with that company. They have a partner company. I'm helping them run their marketing as well. That company offers cybersecurity from the standpoint, it has 40 years of background, global information about where the bad guys are and they aren't. So if you try to send to a place you're not authorized to do, or it's a country that we prohibit from this country, call stops or the sequence stops. Same thing on the incoming. We block things before they actually happen. So we didn't worry about the hacking, whatever. They don't get into. I'm representing a company called Intrusion. All right, I'm going to start with Layla, right? See?
Yeah.
Okay, go, please.
Hey guys, I'm Layla. I have done digital marketing for the last 20 years. I do digital marketing and e-commerce. I just left my full-time job to start my own thing. Thank you. It's called Fade to Black Marketing. Right now I'm working on a lot of local SEO. I think that's helpful for people in the chamber and things like that, but I do all kinds of digital marketing, and even e-commerce, setup, integration, migration, and things like that, a lot of operational stuff. Yeah.
Why the name Fade to Black?
Um,
It is pink.
honestly, there's a couple things, right? It's a great Metallica song from way back when.
Okay.
But also,
You mean the Rolling Stones?
well, I'm waiting for to be in the black. You know, that's the goal.
Okay. But the Rolling Stones painted black.
I got it.
I got it. You're
it.
not gonna get it, but he would.
In the first song.
And you wouldn't get that song, would you?
No, I think the numbers, oh, that's good.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you don't wanna be
I
right.
hope my numbers fade to black soon.
Yeah, you wanna get right.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, my name is Adrian with Biz Savvy, network, we are right down the street at 1928 Tyler, so what an office. What a pain in the butt that was,
What, you moved in?
yeah, to remodel and do everything from scratch.
Where are you?
Right here, 1928 Tyler,
Okay.
yeah, come by,
Yeah, I will.
everybody, come on. Out there.
Well, you can host an event. Go talk to Ebony about doing a ribbon cutting.
Let me breathe.
No, we don't waste time here.
You know, it's such a work in progress, so what we do is we help small businesses uncover internal revenue codes that will help benefit them. And utilize cash flow engineering for their business on earning income. Our average client saves over about $800,000 for a 5-year period with us. We do a live podcast on Saturdays with our clients. We have a studio inside our location.
You can sit on this side.
And I invite anybody who wants to come do an interview, straight.
Otherwise, the room will shift if we all. Young man in the back.
Hey, my name is Stefano and software engineering. I'm always being in the field of the medical field. a couple of months and now also in the field of taxes. So we started a company where we want to implement artificial intelligence in the workflow of the companies. Now with the AI training in everything, I'm more like AI engineering. So that way we can implement these new models that are coming every day into the company because that's the main reason that that's the goal for the companies. I heard a couple of weeks ago that artificial intelligence is like the trend right now, but any company has benefits, real benefits for its advance. So now we are trying to create we have a startup that our goal is to implement artificial intelligence into the workflow of the companies.
Okay, and when we get into automation, David is the pro at that. So, well, David, you'll come back when we do that.
I missed the name of the company.
I forget the name, sorry. That's Cornerstone.
Cornerstone.
Cornerstone,
Cornerstone tax.
okay,
It's in the 7020 Harrison Tree.
you're an accountant or a CPA?
No. The company, the person where I work with are
Oh,
CPA.
they are,
That's the big building?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
okay, all right. So please introduce yourself, why you're here, I should have said that, and what you do.
Okay, so Kinara Chemish from Montclair Partners. And I help business owners when they're looking to sell, I help them find the right buyer. Or if they're an established business and they're looking to grow, I help them find an investor. So a big part of that is going through a lot of financial statements and documents and balance sheets and all that. So I wanted to see how AI could help with that. True, yes.
Oh, you opened up a can of worms by saying mergers and acquisitions primarily, or finance, kind of define that for me.
So it's not mergers and acquisitions. It's more if when the company owner, so let's say an owner is ready to retire and they don't have a succession plan,
Mhm.
then I help them find someone to buy their company. So obviously I have to review everything about them, represent them and do a huge,
Okay.
large write-up.
So I'll throw the term estate planning is built into all of that, right?
Yeah, so I work with some lawyers who do estate planning and then if someone has a
Very
business,
important.
they let me know, yeah.
For someone who's 66, it's kind of important to have all that ready. Exactly. All right, David, we're gonna go online here.
All right. You don't want to have Ebony introduce herself? Or did she leave?
You did that on purpose, didn't you?
She did. I love to piss her off. She's so good at that. Lady E, please go.
Let me repeat her name for you specifically.
I'm gonna butcher
Here.
Hold
It's
on.
fine.
It's Kinneret, right?
Kinneret.
Kinneret, but it's
Kinneret.
Kinneret, but say it however you want, it's, I really
Okay.
don't, no, I don't
it's her
care, I really don't
Can
care.
I call you Ken?
Yes, no problem.
I'm the worst with names.
What's your name? Glenn.
Glenn.
Glenn, I have to
So-
Glenn.
All right. I will say your name 12 times.
Yeah, me too.
Kinneret, am I doing it right?
Yeah,
I have to do it 12 times.
Yeah.
That's the way I'm taught.
like queso part.
Okay.
yeah,
Okay with you?
go with it.
That's great.
All right, go ahead, David, since you're in Cyberland.
Still have not-
Beautiful. So for those of you who don't know me, I didn't introduce myself. My name my name is
Go ahead, Ojetter. Yeah.
I'm Ebony Chow, and I'm the Director of Programs and Events here at the Chamber. If you're interested in putting on a lunch and learn, if you want to do a grand opening of your space, if you want to be registered for an event, I'll help with EBAS, any kind of programming or event related, I coordinate everything. I'm also the facilitator for Leadership Hollywood, the Leadership Hollywood Foundation, so I'm very busy with that as well.
What is that, can I ask?
Leadership Hollywood is a 9-month program, basically helping emerging leaders and business professionals who want to learn more about the city of Hollywood. It's one full day in the month. We start off with leadership in October and we end in June with graduation. You get to meet a great cohort of people that's in your class, you form bonds. You get to learn what type of bird you are, which is your communication style. You get to know what your strengths are as a leader. You also get to do a community project throughout the year. And you get to make great connections with Hollywood and beyond in the county.
Very cool.
She practiced that whole morning before she did that, right?
Very good.
right, David, call out some of our cyber folk out there.
I'm gonna start with myself selfishly because I didn't do my intro yet. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is David Moadab, and I'm the founder of Solution Squad, where for the last 20 years, we've been helping business owners get their time back by managing their IT for them. While I'm not doing that, I'm the co-chair of the tech committee with my partner in crime, Glenn, and I'm also an ambassador at the chamber, making sure everyone really gets the benefits out of the chamber. I'm going to start with our intros in the cyberspace side of things, and we'll go to our number one fan who's here with us, Adam and Dutch. Adam, why don't you introduce yourself? And Dutch, why don't you pull over? I get nervous every time.
I'm
Hey,
pulled over.
Dutch, why don't you introduce us?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having us. It's Dutch and Adam. We represent World System Builders. We're part of a financial literacy campaign, which is 30 by 30, which our mission is to educate 30 million families by the year 2030. So we have a lot of work to do. Our establishment is located in Miami Lakes, our actual office, but we are Hollywood residents. In the daytime, myself, I'm a network communications engineer for DOT, but at nighttime, I turn to Batman and I turn into a financial professional with fiduciary standards and educator. Same with Adam, who's doing this full time now. And I'll let him tell you about himself. But some of the things that we do offer, there's about 600 offices of us nationwide in between the United States and Canada. Ours is again is in Miami Lakes, and we do financial workshop classes, Zoom or locally, and we host events pretty much weekly. Topics include increasing cash flow, debt management, emergency funds, proper protection, estate preservation, will and trust, asset accumulation strategies, just basic financial literacy components that us in the workforce. I think everyone should know about that, especially if you have families or businesses, small, big, doesn't matter. We leave no family behind, and that's our creed and motto. So yeah, we're here to help educate. Thank you for your time.
All right,
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback on what Dutch said. We are very grassroots. We will actually go to a supermarket with the family and we will go shopping with them and teach them how to shop. We teach the four pillars. We consider there four pillars of financial education, financial literacy. Starting off with protecting yourself. It's like if you're on an airplane and the announcer at the beginning of the flight, they say, put your own seatbelt on, then help your kids with their seatbelt, right? If the oxygen mask falls, put your mask on first, and then help your kids put their masks on. So we really stress proper protection. We help people with debt management. We help people establish an emergency fund. And then finally, investments, which is kind of the top of the pyramid. Most people think of investments as being first. And we actually think we think that investments could be built alongside the protection. So myself, I'm again, Hollywood resident, live in Hollywood Hills. I own a healthcare clinic, and I'm a former high school Spanish teacher. I really believe that kids are lacking in financial education. A lot of the parents are as well. And so that's what as Dutch mentioned, educating 30 million people by the year 2030. And we're very far from that. But no, thanks. And the tech committee here at the chamber has been really helpful personally to me. I'm probably the most anti-tech person on the here involved, but I've learned a lot about AI and how to protect our information, and we pass that along to our clients as well. So again, thank you so much for allowing us to attend.
Thank you for being here, and it's great to educate the educators. You guys are clearly educators, so it's good to collaborate. It's awesome to collaborate. Neil, are you done eating?
Yeah, hey guys, I'm still at it, but I'll go ahead. So this is Neil. I represent Dreammaker Bath and Kitchen in Hollywood, Florida, with Antonio, who is the owner, who just got awarded the Small Businessman of the Year, which I think is great.
Big honor.
Yeah, we remodel anything within homes, guys, and we're starting to take on some projects now where we can actually do additions to homes. So don't let the name fool you. It's not just bathrooms and kitchens, it's anything within a home. And Glenn, just to let you know too, the school you're thinking about is Old Dominion, and that was in Richmond, Virginia.
Wife grew up in Norfolk, so pretty close to that.
Yeah, that was where that school shooting unfortunately happened yesterday.
And I'll get into my piece a little later.
That's definitely a good intro for you, Glenn. Stephanie, why don't you tell us about yourself and why you're here?
I didn't even know this was gonna happen. I feel like I was put on the spot.
No spots. We're just chill here. It's all good.
Well, what I do, I run Lumena Global Advisory. I help entrepreneurs protect what they have built, right? So I focus on protecting the business as it grows, and I also help them expand into other markets like Latin America. For me, too many founders build something valuable and they lose control of it when it starts growing. So I make sure that the operation is nice and tight for investors, for growth, for scaling, depending on the entrepreneur's goal.
And how are you guys using AI today to do that?
Oh, absolutely. Everywhere, every day, every 2 seconds. I feel like ChatGPT and Claude AI are my best friends. They walk with me, they talk with me.
And I thought they
But
were my best friends.
I use it to organize my brain, right? Because I feel like AI is definitely not going to replace humans the way everybody thinks, but it will definitely amplify and organize those brilliant minds that are out there.
Well
Yeah.
put. How do you secure that? How
Hold
are
on.
you currently securing? Glenn, you want to jump?
So what I'll add to Stephanie's comment, we don't think it's going to replace people, but it's going to change the jobs that you, your kids, grandkids will be doing in the future. You'll still need people to make critical decisions because AI is not close to perfect when I use it. So, and David's also a Uber user, but it's changing the way we're going to work. That much I can guarantee you. Go ahead, David.
You nailed it. It's changing everything. The thing I was asking Stephanie, because fresh blood, why not?
Oh, wow.
In a friendly environment, but how are you securing all that information that you're giving GPT and Claude? Are you using a paid GPT and Claude account, or are you just doing the free versions?
No, I don't use the free versions at all. I pay for all my memberships for that, just for security and for, I guess, more tailored, personalized, and more advanced. I get to beta test everything that comes out new. There's many different benefits of getting the paid version, and I use them mostly to organize my own thoughts, and prepare proposals. And if I missed anything, the AIs will definitely pick it up. Technical, right? So.
Love it. You're doing it right. I love hearing that. I'm the security nut. So when I hear somebody's doing things securely, wow, awesome. Glenn, speaking of security, your eyes have recently been open to some really crazy stuff that you can't really talk about, but you're going to talk about now anyway. What are you seeing?
Well, we're seeing a lot. So again, it's better if I stand here. So not that this makes me look thinner, taller with more hair, but I'm working for two different security organizations that do two different things. The first one I mentioned was school security, school safety. And again, I'm not trying to be an opportunist, but we've been working on this for several months. And this announcement will come sooner than later to say what we can do is we take smart boards that are in schools right now. This is not a smart board. This is a projector, but we'll make believe. We can turn that into a camera and a microphone. And I got to watch the wires here. If there was a button up here, you would swipe it as a teacher if an incident was happening inside the classroom, and that would turn on the camera and microphone. Within 2 seconds, it goes to a school resource officer, which are typically ex-militia, ex-military, ex-police personnel, and they go diving into the room just to see if it's legitimate or not. We also send that same signal to 911 dispatch. Why that's important is we're going to have hopefully an SRO standing there and 911 looking at it to see if it's real or not. If it's fake, if it's an accident, then we call everything off. If it is real, we then send first responders. They can view the entire video and hear it as they approach the building. They know where the perpetrator might be. And where this now gets even more important is we'll announce it, I hope next week, that with that same system, it will also listen for gunshot sounds. And a pause. It will listen for a gunshot. It will know the magnum, it will know the speed, it will know what type of weapon it is. That's gonna go right to 911. The SRO will still be involved. And again, what happened yesterday happened, and fix it. But now we're gonna be able to put that type of technology anywhere you want. It doesn't have to be a school, a whiteboard, or any of that. It could be in a hallway. We know then what the GPS is, we know the location, and where we hear echo, we might hear other things. So that's the technology I'm getting involved in. I came from a pure cybersecurity world a few months ago. Now I'm getting heavily, heavily involved in this type of stuff. It's a scary world. And to think our government will fix this in a short time is not reality, just to be brutally honest. So we as a community have to do a better job here in Hollywood and places beyond. Again, Michigan and Virginia. You know, our thoughts and prayers for them and their families. That was pretty awful. How's that, David?
That was pretty good. You're doing a great job on the physical side of it. Do you want to tell us a little bit on the other hat with the cyber side? Or do you want to hold that for later?
Well, hold it. You know what?
Hold it is. All right, so I'm gonna take us into into our headliner, which is using apps and AI in the workplace. Unless anybody's got anything specific they want to jump into, that's where I'm headed. Hands, anything? Shall we? Should we?
Hold on, Dave. Do we want to ask how you all are using AI? Safe,
I'm
secure,
with that.
safe and secure, legal, ethical, moral. And by the way, Ada, please introduce yourself.
Oh, hi, everybody. My name is Ana Ramirez. I'm the office manager here at the Greater Hollywood Chamber of Commerce.
Okay, thank you. Is anybody using it to a certain degree?
All day,
All of it meaning what?
all day, I'm saying. So
So give us an example.
I recently got off ChatGPT. I stopped paying for ChatGPT and I went to Claude. I feel like both of them have their place in space.
Sure.
I think they're both phenomenal. I find that ChatGPT is a little bit, if I'd say it's better at images and things like that from a marketing perspective. It does a great job of changing images or creating things. They have a lot more specific GPTs that you can use depending on what you're trying to accomplish, which is a very nice feature. Claude is definitely better at writing code or creating PowerPoints, decks, stuff like that. So I think both of them have value. I totally agree you have to be using the paid version for the security aspect of it for sure. And also it's just, it's useful until it's not, and it's not useful when it's like, hey, you have to wait 3 hours to continue this conversation or something like that.
I use a different version. I'm using a piece of software that has 58 LLMs, large language models.
Sure.
So I use Claude, I use Perplexity. I try different things because nothing's perfect.
Right.
And then if you love Claude, great. And then someday you might slide Llama. You're going to see what works for you. Yes,
Yeah, so-
Adrian.
Yeah, thank you so much. So
Yeah.
my biggest question, and that's why I'm here, is like, when you're looking at different chat GPTs, different AIs, I've actually prompted you not to, everything's confidential, you cannot share information. I tell it, remind it constantly. It says, okay, great, I won't do that.
Do you trust that?
I don't know whether to trust it or not.
That
If
means
I should-
absolutely nothing in your prompt.
Yeah, but the thing is, I feel better in the morning.
You can feel better all you want, but if you've got memory on, you already told it that no problem. Remember everything I tell you. If you got the checkbox that's on by default that feeds back to the general queue and helps improve the quality, you're telling it, hey, share all my info. It doesn't matter how many times you tell it's confidential. It's putting all your details into that bucket. Sorry, I had to jump in, but you were saying.
I think I checked it off. I'll go check it today.
Please. Yes, do that.
There's an actual box. So then, now everybody wanted to sell us AI during Christmas, and I just was totally against it because it's not ready. And I had quotes for 50,000, 30,000. I said, no, I won't go. And now we running AI on our own, you know, utilizing the prompts from Claude and everything in the back end with our developers. So it's just, you know, we're building our own CRM system, we're building everything on our own platform, our own servers, everything is secured on everything. So that's kind of like, you know, I'm trying to catch up to my teams, trying to learn something, trying to get ahead of them a little bit. That's pretty much why I'm here.
Because they're doing it whether you tell them yes or no.
Yeah, but I need to know, I know what they're saying, I know what they're I'm looking at everything, but, you know, I
Okay.
wanna see if I can be smart of the time.
Right, and Dave and I your ears will bleed after a while. It's gotta be safe and secure, you gotta pay for it. If you
Yeah,
don't
I
pay
pay
for
for
it, you're opening yourself up.
I'm paying for this right now.
Right, and then and again, Dave will back me up, the hacker gets in and change your prompts without you knowing it. Do you think that's a problem?
Prompt injection, even that is a problem.
So he and I will play good cop, bad cop during this thing, but you all need to understand what you're walking into. And if you're doing free, don't tell us, please. Because that's the first problem, because it could leak. You're telling it, I don't care. So,
Len, I got to tell you, lately said something that all these discussions we've had and all the reasons for paying for this stuff, I never thought of that, which is your limits are increased when you pay for it. You're not sitting there for timeouts and everything else. When I first started with GPT, I paid for that thing right away. And I'm not the guy to go pay for extra services. It's always got to make sense and everything. GPT was like, here, take my money because it gave me more limits. And she's absolutely right. The limits that I surpassed today, if I had the free version, I wouldn't get a 20th of the work I get done in any given day. So she made a very valid point there. Not a common one you see, that you don't have all those limits stopping you. As you're most productive, you have the GPT tuned in, you're doing your thing, all of a sudden you're hitting a wall. But if you paid for it, you don't.
okay, and again, this is changing every hour. I go in the next day and it's like, what did you do? It's constant. Go ahead, David. Was there anybody else in here that does any significant AI?
Okay, so I'm a developer, so I use AI for every day in my work and also in the personal life. Talking about the models, I use ChatGPT. I also use Gemini, the pro version. I am thinking about getting the cloud. I don't like the
Claude?
cloud.
Claude is I'm a fan.
Yeah, I don't like the people that work there, but I think they build a really nice tool. About the security wise for the companies, I also recommend the Google Cloud or the GCP. They have all the agreements and all the compliance for the company on the information. So that's so funny because a couple of weeks ago I started working with the agents for developing. So I say the agent, hey, do this, hey, I know with the ChatGPT agent and with the Gemini agent, I say do the task and they do all the requirements that I told them. And that's nice because I create like a project in a week and that would take me like 2 months to finish the work. So yeah, it was really nice. It's a really nice time to live on.
We're seeing it go in 1,000 different directions every day.
All right, quick question, Bled. Did you say you're utilizing Perplexity?
I'm using it back end. I'm using something called HATZ, HATZ.ai. It's 58 LLMs. You pick which one you want. And then in the background, I can do deep learning with Perplexity. I'm using a web scraping tool they offer. And I'm using Python to do the spreadsheets behind that. So with that, and if I'm not happy with the answer from Claude, I can go to Gemini, I can go wherever I want and get a different type of answer.
And your subscription is with you said HATT?
HATZ, HATZ.
Your subscription is with HATS.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
Just so get more insight, Perplexity is going to release a new CPU, Mac Mini with a Perplexity model inside. So you can buy the Mac Mini and there's a model inside that can do everything you want inside that computer.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I like the easy button. I'm lazy. I don't want to have to. I have one login and it gives me APIs to everything. I'm lazy. I'm sorry.
But here's the thing, though. The gentleman, I didn't catch his name next to Adrian. Stephen?
Stefan, that's not enough.
So you're making a good point, which is if a Mac Mini cannot be your LLM, someone like Adrian can literally run the LLM in-house. Adrian, you could literally set a server. You know all those servers you're setting up? You can literally run your own AI internally on your internal database. So that concern you have with the publicity and leakage and everything else goes right out the window because you could literally air gap it, run it on a specific system that only talks to itself. For an application that you're talking about, that's really the most secure way of doing it is having a local LLM. You could use a Mac Mini at this point to run that for you. Microsoft is also releasing with Copilot, running Copilot on the local machine, but Copilot is, yeah, work in progress.
Copilot is if you're an Microsoft 365 user, it knows all your data, which is the good news. The bad news, it knows all your data. You have to be careful what you're publicizing. Be extremely careful. You could leak your intellectual property. This is what we're going to say over and over. I'm a Copilot user, plus hats and a bunch of other things. Did you have anything to add on the aid? Okay.
Yeah, actually, my points are the same as yours, that I think ChatGPT is good for just getting information, answering questions, gathering data, but Claude is much better in terms of writing, and like I make a lot of teasers or one pagers, and it does them really beautifully. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we got a ChatGPT user, right? You're happy? And Claude.
Yeah.
Okay. If we're keeping points, but we're not, David. How about your folks in cyber world?
Adam, Dutch, and if you guys want to tell us what you guys are using.
Yeah, so I use ChatGPT, the paid version. Also, I use this, and this is a question I was going to bring up today, is that I use a lot of Adobe Illustrator, Adobe Photoshop, and for example, within Illustrator, I could use the prompt and create a prompt and say, create a spiral, something very specific, and it'll give me a choice of which AI system I like to use. Now I use I have a paid ChatGPT, but it has like a dozen options, and by putting that information out there, again, are there security leaks? I mean, it's within the Adobe Illustrator system, so I don't know how secure that is. So I mean, I don't put anything personal, but if I need to generate a photo of a photograph and I want it to look like someone, I don't like to, put that out there.
So think of it as your modern day or 10 years ago Google search, right? You wanted to
Okay.
go research something, but you didn't really want anyone knowing you were doing it because, you're researching it, whatever. You want your private data, right?
Right.
While that was private, it wasn't private because when you did that search, there's a log somewhere that says this IP address did this search. And if you were logged into your browser and that says this guy did this search, all in private and everything else. But at the end of the day, private is not private as long as you're working on someone else's system.
Mm.
So as long as you're doing anything online, your right to privacy goes out the window. At the very core level of it, if you really, really want to get a little crazy in there, your internet provider, which is the connection from you to the world, sees every last bit of traffic that you push through. Technically, they may be able to get in there and see what you're actually talking about. So you really have no privacy. The answer to your question is you take it with a grain of salt. It's Adobe you're dealing with. Adobe has contracts with Google and everyone else to all keep your data private and blah, blah, blah. And someday Adobe will leak just like everybody else does.
Mm.
And there's nothing you could do about it, unfortunately. So be cautious what you put in. Always assume there's somebody over your shoulder watching you because there is no privacy if it's connected to the internet. By design, it's communicating. As it communicates, it's giving you data. And that data is not really private. As hard as we try today, technology keeps beating it. So
Thank
yeah,
you.
use it, but just cautiously. I wouldn't put anything crazy out there. I will do my best to never try to type in anything I don't want anyone hearing me or seeing me do because there's no privacy if it's online.
Right. Okay. Dutch has in the chat space. I think he has a chat
Yeah,
comment.
I just wanted to chime in. Like I mentioned before, I was experimenting with a bunch of different AI. I actually reduced that number to pretty much only one. So I got the Chat GPT Plus version. I got very comfortable with this particular model because I trained it. And I am privy that, from my understanding, is that if I were to want to switch to another model, there's an actual prompt I can use to actually take all the information that I've trained it to bring it to another, cloud, for example. So I haven't tried that because I'm very used to chat now. Even though I wanted to try a bunch of different, there's too many out there, and I don't have that much time to sit there and try them all out. And like you guys talked about, it should be paid for. So that brings me to the topic of, I got into not an argument, but I kind of debate with somebody else who was telling me to look into Kimmy. It's all when they're like pushing this whole open source thing that everything's free, and then so I kind of used what you guys told me, and I told them that if it's free, then you're the product, and then they got all mad at me for saying that. So I just don't know if you guys have heard of Kimmy, but it's supposed to be the next new one that's supposed to have uh, unlimited resources at like half the price or something like that. Because there's so much going on out there. So I'm not sure if you guys have heard of it. Kimmy 2.0, I think it's called.
Glenn,
It's
have you
supposed to
heard
be
of this?
open source.
If not, but I agree with Dutch, if you're using free, you are the product. They're
So,
learning from,
I think it's for China,
it's now what,
the model that he's speaking.
Kimmy?
I think it's for China, I think.
I've never heard of it.
Dutch,
Sorry.
here's what it comes down to. A few weeks, probably a month ago, Clawbot came out. A bot system that somebody wrote that uses Claude's code to go out and do stuff on your behalf. Beautiful concept. It could be your personal assistant. You run this little agent and it goes out and does all sorts of things for you. Fantastic. In order to get this agent smarter, there's these little plugins you could get free online. You just download them. Somebody wrote it. You hit install. It installs it. Now your agent, which knows everything about you, which is sitting on your local system because, hey, it's local, right? You just installed that little plugin from this guy who created it somewhere out there. Guess what? The plugins were malicious. So people trusted this open source system, which was fully trustworthy. The code is clean. It does a great job. The people who wrote it are fantastic. But then they connected it to all these other places because convenience. I don't want to write my own code. Let me use someone else's. Guess what? Someone else's code leaked all their API information, which means now my secrets are out in the world because that middleman I trusted did bad things. So when if these things first come out, I was so excited to use this product, right? I went to set it up, and as soon as I read the headlines, I'm like, yeah, no, forget it. I could containerize it, this, that, but at the end of the day, it's too soon, it's too early. Usually things like this, give it a little bit of time for people to figure out the problems with it and then adopt it if you're cautious about it. Free is bad, not always. Sometimes you could use free to your own good. You just have to be cautious and cautious and cautious.
Well, look, the story that they're trying to sell here is they're using the Linux example of what it did to Microsoft back in the days, that open source is a good thing for humanity because everyone can, put their input in it. But now that you said that, now you got planner shells. I mean, yeah, now it's making me even more anxious. I guess I'm just going to stick to chat for now.
I'm in the same boat. I've become married to chat. Now, the last couple of weeks of my life have been absolutely waste in a sense, because I guess this is a good intro to get into this, Glenn. About a month ago, a couple of months ago, we had someone on here who talked about creating apps using ChatGPT. That went in the back of my head as an old developer. It sat there. Great. Glenn and I had a conversation about 3 weeks ago about scraping using ChatGPT. Well, my brain finally put two and two together and I realized, hey, you could make ChatGPT create apps for you. That went from a simple copy paste code from a website to ChatGPT and back and forth to connecting GPT to the actual web system, to the actual platform. I went from a simple scraper in the last 3 weeks to a full-on platform that researches my target audience, goes out and grabs their information, scrapes information on them, starts looking at their Microsoft habits and their online habits when it comes to their cybersecurity of their business, and it starts alerting me when there's problems. So now I have my potential client that I want, that fits me, that I could go straight after. And this all happened without me doing a zero line of code. All I had to do was go tell GPT about it. If you guys are not using apps written by AI in your day to day, biggest thing I learned this last month is how much I've been missing out. I took that idea and every little thing that's been bothering me, I started fixing the code using GPT. I'm a news nut. So there's a screen to my left that has about 6, 7 streams of news going, right? It was ugly. It was rudimentary. It was batch files, running things. I wrote programs to do this and this and this. Gave it to GPT. In about 5 minutes, GPT had this gorgeous, beautiful platform looking thing. Would have taken a developer sitting there probably a good 2 months to come up with this. In 5 minutes, it came up with it. Run local, use it, utilize it, not just for research, but actually start having it develop things for you. And the things that it's doing is insane how cool it could do things for you. So for
I got a
example,
quick question
yeah.
about that. So when you're getting your code back from chat, where do you transfer to? What platform do you transition it to actually give you the output? On
So,
a
okay,
browser?
I'm going to go super nerd here, but here's the thing. I have a Docker system. Docker is a hosting system, right? So in there is a couple of lines, a couple of files that run the web server. I've connected GPT itself directly into that code. I'm not editing anything. All I'm doing is telling GPT, hey, I want this to say this and this function. You should do this after this. And by the way, put helpers everywhere so I know what you did and how to use it. It goes, it modifies my code, it restarts the web server, it makes sure things run properly, looks at my database for me. All this stuff that a developer and development cycle would take weeks and months and years to do, it's doing it instantly. The only research part I'm doing is going clicking the boxes. Hey, you know what? This would be cooler if you did this. Again, the idea went from a simple scraper that Glenn and I came up with to it's this monster of a system now that it knows when somebody is going to get hacked because I've given it the things to look for that if these guys have this and this and this, these guys can get hacked. You need to call them and see if you can help them. All from talking to it. 0 lines of code.
By the way, David, we always agreed not to be too nerdy with everybody because you're gonna lose the audience in a minute. Adrian
Yeah,
had
I'm sure I've lost them at this point. Dutch baited me. I'm sorry. I had to go there. I had to geek out.
Pretty smart here.
well, yeah, people go, well, I don't understand it, and that's okay. We're
No.
trying to bring it.
I think because everybody says, has the same questions. How do you protect yourself from the modules that you are outreaching? Because I bought a bunch, right?
Mhm.
So, okay, all these modules, these modules, we're gonna put them all in, then have other guys who come in. How do I know at the end? When the developer gives me everything, right? I'm protected or my clients are protected. How do you know?
David?
Zatimir, you don't know. Look, this is a problem that's always existed for as long as code has existed, even back in the day where code was on a piece of paper on punch card, right? Because it comes down to that person. And in my day-to-day job, which is a cybersecurity person, it's that person that's always the weakest link. If that developer put in a back door and you don't know what it is, you don't know. There's no, yes, you could have code reviewed now using GPT, but at the end of the day, you don't know. It's a trust thing and a logic thing. So the same thing is when you're putting something online. It's not go hide in the corner, be scared. If it's got a plug next to it, just run from it. It's be logical and be cautious and realize that the risk is there. Yeah.
So when you put your helpers, right, to detect triggers.
Yep.
Set that in the background too, right? So hey, I see something funky, put a trigger on this and block whatever's coming in. Okay.
Well, if you're talking about like in my platform, right? Let's use my platform thing that I'm telling you as an example of how you do things securely. The only thing my platform is doing is Googling things. Literally, it's going on Google, it's picking a map area, and it's saying, I want lawyers in this area. So it's finding their websites. From there, it's going literally just Googling information about them, finding the different things about their back end that's all publicly available, and dinging it, right? Everything I've written here, if any of this code ever goes public, now I've secured it. Even though nobody has access to it, it's literally sitting in a box that only I have access to, but it calls out to the internet, so it has security, right? There's passwords, there's logging authentication. That was one of the first things I gave it. So if it gets hacked, I know what happened. At the end of the day, if anybody hacks it, Good luck. What are you getting? Same stuff I could have got on Google. So now you know that I like putting two and two and two together. Great. But I never give it anything confidential. The confidential stuff comes in when I export from it. Here's my target. I put it in my closed off CRM that I trust and go from there. I'm not putting something like this in a way that it has access to my cookies, you know?
So David, unless there's any other questions, I am shocked nobody's asked us the question about the most dangerous thing in cybersecurity right now. No
Which
one is asked.
one? There's a
Well,
long list.
one that keeps growing and growing, and people go, beats the heck out of me. You ready, David?
I'm ready.
Deepfakes,
Oh, that.
fake looking emails, phone calls, and people, right? And you all think it's real? Is anybody having that problem? Because the bad guys are creating more and more and better versions of that. Why? It's called social engineering. They want to trick us. And that where this is all starting to go, and I'm not going to go into rant here, but what we're dealing with is gray warfare. Anybody heard that term?
Yes.
Okay, because the bad guys are going, I don't have to throw missiles at these people, although they do want to. But they're going after us in so many different ways that seem innocent. But the idea is to build profiles on us, see who we're connected to, and then infiltrate us that way. And the terrible problem, I talked about active shooting earlier, is how they're going after our kids, grandkids, and young adults. Anybody have young adults in their family?
I'm a young
Yep.
adult.
You're a young adult? Okay. I'm young at heart, but I'm not an adult. But we all have children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews. And the bad guys, and that's Russia, North Korea, China, places in that area, don't care. They want to monetize everything we're doing. So as we're talking AI here, David, right? We're innocently saying, yeah, I don't care about my data. It's okay. They want it. And they want to somehow monetize all this. And I truly hate to say this, and this is being recorded, that they want to get to our kids. Because that's where this thing called human trafficking starts. And if your children fall for some of these episodes and agree to meet a 15-year-old kid from Hollywood who's really based somewhere else in the world, you're going to have a problem you may not be able to recover from. So this now starts to really change the way David, I, and the people in the security space look at it.
Do you believe that social media, when they copy your profiles and stuff like that, if there's such a certain privacies? What do you do to protect yourself?
50 to 75% of what we see on the internet is AI.
Yeah, I'm saying that.
We all
No,
more or less in agreement.
yeah, no.
Last month I was in Arkansas. Why I was in Arkansas, I was invited to attend a sheriff's show. We're showing them some of our stuff. The keynote speaker was the Attorney General. I had no idea who he was. His name is Tim Griffin, formerly served, he's been Lieutenant Governor in Arkansas, a bunch of different places in the government, and he served under George H. Bush in his administration. And he's going for re-election right now, and was talking about, we're in Little Rock, Arkansas, and y'all don't think this stuff exists. He goes, I've shut down like 3 dozen massage parlors in the surrounding area in the past 2-3 weeks. So they're looking at ways to infiltrate. All we're trying to say is use your common sense, use your emotional intelligence. Well, here's what my heart says, because all the things we're kind of talking about, they're going to beat us to death, because that's what they're trying to do. Again, gray warfare. That's what's now starting to happen. I thought I would just throw that out there because I was stunned sitting there. Guy from Miami sitting in Arkansas, and they're talking about human trafficking. I never thought it would happen out there. We all think New York, LA, Chicago, Miami, the big cities. It's happening in small towns. And so all Dave and I want to say is think about what you're doing before you do it. Call one of us, call your IT professional, call someone to say, let's back up a little. I gotta make sure none of my data leaks, and if anybody understands PII, personally identifiable information that somehow gets out there, that's where this all starts. Your children, your young adults don't care. I also speak at senior events. I talk to 70 and 80-year-olds. I'm 66, so I'm in the category. They don't understand it, and I beg, Broward Sheriff Office will bring me in, bring their caregivers. I'll talk to them about locking up their estate plans. Because if grandma is trying to take out $10,000 for whatever reason, a third party needs to verify that. Don't let grandma take 10,000 because they heard their granddaughter was in jail and call. Down the street, I'm pointing in the wrong direction. I speak also at Sun Credit Union. They're about 3 miles west, wherever the hell I'm pointing. They listen to me because I speak there, and they've now adopted a third party program. So when there's a certain dollar threshold, let's say it's $1,000, they will call the caregiver of that senior person to verify. These are things we have to do because our government is not doing it now. And this attorney general went on a rant like I had never seen. He really cares. So that's kind of the way to wrap this up. We can do anything you want in AI, have a great time. But when something happens, who are you going to call? And it's not Ghostbusters, right? So I had to throw it because I'm
Glenn, I want to piggyback off of what you're saying. And Adrian asked a really, really good question when he said social media and what you should put out there. So again, I'm building a scraper, which is doing nothing more than just literally looking at websites and looking at information, right? What it's finding is really scary because I'm going after high-end attorneys at this point because that's a target, right? These guys have a lot of money, but their web guy isn't smart enough not to keep their email address on their website. So I'm scraping these websites and I'm finding with all sorts of email addresses. Now, Adrian, you asked if you should have your information on social media. Well, if your information is on social media, I could Google you. I could find who you are. Now I could go to your Facebook and look at all your habits. I could see who your family is, where you hang out, who you like to be friends with, and everything else. Then I could go scrape your website and learn all about your business and find out the back end systems you have because in order to access them remotely, you have to do a thing called DNS, right? So now I built a profile of you with all your social information that's out there. I can literally come after you and start emailing you with the email address that's on your website, knowing I'll get to you, and knowing all the things I know from your Facebook. I could start reverse engineering and social engineering my way into your company. So why do you need your Facebook profile to be public? Go make it private. If your friends want to know your life, beautiful, they can. But if not, your Facebook shouldn't be public. And for your children, my kids have no social media. My son, who's 17, has Instagram. That's it. He does it for business and nothing else because that privacy is important for them. They care more about that than the real life stuff than social. Don't put your stuff out on social publicly. Keep it safe, keep it secured. Because a guy like me who knows enough to use AI to build a good system, a bad guy whose job it is to be a bad guy, who's got nothing better to do than be a bad guy, can go fishing like that these days because AI will do everything for them. The more you put out there, the more vulnerable you are. I had a different example of that this week. How many of you guys have used AT&T as a provider in the past? Anyone here use them? Great.
long time.
Not too long ago, about I think a year and a half ago, AT&T had a massive breach, and their entire customer database got leaked out. Now, I've been a nerd for a long time, and when I give email addresses to different providers, I give them unique email addresses. So AT&T had their own. This week, I started getting emails sent to that AT&T email address claiming to be the IRS. David Moadab from this and this address, your account is overdue. We're coming after you, blah, blah, blah. That email was very much personalized. It knew my name, it knew my home address, zip code, phone number, and everything, right? That's a scary thing. And if I didn't know better, I would have fallen for it. Reality is if your information is out there, just like AT&T leaked the information, you become a target. So I knew better. I saw the AT&T alias. I knew what was going on. But that's another thing that's going on now, which is all these companies that are getting leaked, your information is ending up out there. You have to know how to protect yourself from that and have the caution in place not to let it come through. I went all
Now,
tech again, I know.
When I say that word deep fake, they're learning about us. They're building profiles. And they're trying to trick us, especially our kids. That it's a sad state of affairs. What's our government doing? Anything about it? None at this moment. So protect yourselves, protect your family. Get
And if you're a
secure.
business, yeah, go ahead.
No, just say get security somehow.
And if you're a business owner, for God's sake, have an IT guy, have an IT company. You need to have a business resource to go to. And an IT guy is not usually the answer if you have a real business, because the IT guy doesn't know your day-to-day business. When you have an IT professional, you have an IT company that's maintaining that for you, they know your environment, they know your business. So if you magically log in from, I don't know, Alabama all of a sudden, they're going to be like, wait, this dude works in Hollywood. Why is he in Alabama? Your IT guy will not know that because he doesn't know if you're on vacation. He hasn't talked to you since 3 years ago when your laptop wouldn't turn on. Have a professional that's your resource that can help you along in your business and with your business. Not only do we protect you on a day to day, but we're the resource you go to. So when your head accountant wants to monetize, put AI into your property management system, you've been trained enough to know better and be like, wait a minute, this is showing me data from other tenants. Are you going to show my data to other tenants as well? And say no. I actually had that happen with one of our clients this week. She calls me up. She's like, hey, we were going to sign a contract with this major property management software company, and they were going to put AI in there. We could do all these reports that we've been asking for all these times. And as soon as I did a demo, it showed me that our competition down the road was leasing this warehouse from this bank for this much. And she was trained enough, she had a advisor to go to enough that she understood that this is a red flag. We should not sign this contract with this multi-million-dollar company like the Adobes of the world. And she didn't do it. Logic. Have that IT person, that IT company, the IT resource that can keep you going. Otherwise, you're in the dark.
Yeah, we're running toward the end of time here, David. Do we have questions? Did we raise any thoughts here? That's what David gets a little geeky. I try to avoid that. What did we miss? What kind of things are you all looking for? I do with that. By the way, David, I do that with a sense of love. Because
I feel it.
you 2 words for you, David, decaf. Our cyber crowd, what did we miss? What do you want us focusing on? And maybe next month, you could be featured in here if you all would like. We'll throw that out there if you wouldn't mind talking 5 or 10 minutes about what you all are doing in technology and AI. And I can't believe Dutch isn't jumping all over the place here.
No, I'm knee deep into chat right now before the rain comes down, so we got to get out of here. But I appreciate all you guys' expertise.
Got it. That's what we're here for. Adam, what did we miss?
No, you guys covered a lot today. One thing that jumps out at me that's happened to me recently, we have in Florida the Sunshine State laws. So much of our information is already out there, which is, pretty scary. And I don't think there's a lot we can do about some of the information that's out there, but from a maybe that's not a an IT issue, maybe that's more of a legal issue, but what are your thoughts on
Well, we can't stop people from trying to find your information. Like Sparky there, that we call David, because he could be very sinister. But what you lock your information up, and Sparky and I will tell you over and over: get a VPN, block your IP address from going out, have a password manager, or start using password authenticators, which is really what I'm using going forward. I don't want to know what my password is. I never have. I've never used it. And those are basic things. So if somebody gets to you, Adam, they can't get in your database that it's locked in. And you talk to Sparky or anybody else here that will help you at least secure your own data inside your own tenant. That's what you're doing.
Okay.
You're one click away from a disaster. That's a real conversation then.
Yeah.
How about
Okay.
And Adam, stop trusting information. Like you said, information is now out there. Used to be if someone came to you and said, hey, you're Adam, right? You assume they know you because, hey, you're Adam, right? They know you. That's the assumption. Well, that's no longer true. Someone comes and says, you're Adam, right? You got to be like, who are you? What do you want? Because anybody could have Googled you and found you're Adam now.
Mhm.
That's the glasses to wear is anyone could have that information that you use to trust yourself is
Mhm.
no longer there. Crazy enough, Glenn keeps talking about deepfakes. I'm heavy into Sora. I'm Mr. AI videos. Every Monday I put out an ad with a video and everything else. Glenn is just all crazy on it. But I go to my Sora page and I see myself doing all these goofy things. And I'm like, it's mind boggling to see yourself doing things that you never did, but I'm
Mhm.
looking at myself doing it. There it is. It's real. What used to be, there's no way that's fake. You don't know anymore.
Mhm.
Same is true online. People lied for the longest time, but we
Mhm.
trusted certain things. Those things are out the window now. You have to be cautious. You have to be awake. I'm
Mhm.
not saying go hide. I'm not going to saying be scared and don't turn on your computer. Well, who does that anymore? But just be cautious.
We could also put a lot of fake stuff about ourselves out there too to trick to trick us
Oh
into,
yeah, of course.
yeah, turn the
I'm
tables on them.
writing some post and it writes it beautifully for me and I sound so eloquent and I know what I'm saying. And sometimes I read it, I'm like, yeah, that's not me. I'm deleting it and typing it myself because you got to be real too.
Thank you.
Uh, all right, Glenn, should we start wrapping it?
Good. By the way, to create a Sora profile takes about 20 seconds. You take your camera and revolve it around your face and say a few numbers, and that's it. It's that simple. So if it's that simple, people can fake you out. Be very, very afraid. All right, last call. And the room looks like they're bored to tears. How about out there, Adam? We already covered you. So we appreciate your time. Thank you for attending. David, do we have next month's date yet, or we haven't negotiated?
We haven't locked down next month's date yet, but I am going to do my little spiel here because we are recording this and it will be posted on our website, getbehindthescreens.com. We are doing this as a podcast also. It's not always at the chamber, but pretty frequently at the chamber. That is really our home. If you're catching the recording of this, reach out to us, ask us questions. We both put out a newsletter that you could find out more information on at getbehindthescreens.com. You should be subscribed to our newsletter. Glenn puts out his own blend of it. I put out my own blend of it. And if you're not connected to us on social media, you should be. We put out information on a daily basis. Especially Glenn brings it down a little bit more. I tend to get a little bit more technical and cyber scary. But at the end of the day, it's all meant to help you grow your business. Thank you everyone for being here. And unless anybody else got anything else, I'm going to hit stop recording.
Have a great weekend, everybody. Peace out.
You.
Thank you. Thank you.